Hello everyone, Simon here. Welcome back to History Notes. We'll talk about today about the Punic Wars. The first Punic War was between 264 and 241 BC. The war between Rome and Carthage began in the Sicilian town of Messina. Mercenaries who controlled the city asked Carthage to grant them military aid against King Hero II, but then turned to Rome for help against the Carthaginians. Carthage was richer than Rome at that time. At the same time, it had the largest Mediterranean fleet, while the Romans did not fight real naval battles before. Rome has built a fleet, but generals with no experience have decided to organize battles at sea like those on land. The Romans used hooks to catch enemy ships, while infantry soldiers passed into the enemy boat for a melee battle. This technique, thought though lethal but practical, allowed the Romans to defeat the Carthaginian fleet. In 242, a brave commander attacked Carthage's fleet during the storm, succeeding to win, sinking 50 Punic ships and capturing another 70. After this defeat, Carthage was forced to pay an immense sum of nearly 3,200 talent, the equivalent of 1 year payments of 200,000 Roman soldiers. Thus, Rome became the greatest power in the Western Mediterranean. The Second Punic War was between 218 and 201 BC. Carthage, a town with less than 500,000 inhabitants, was making great efforts to pay the enormous amount due to Rome after the First Punic War. General Hamilcar Barca was sent to Spain, where he tried to establish colonies to pay for war reparations. He has successfully conquered much of Spain and has developed a mining region. In 221 BC, Hamilcar's son Hannibal becomes the commander of the Carthaginian forces in Spain. Over the next 20 years, this young general becomes the most successful commander who faced the Romans in battle. When Rome made an alliance with the Spanish city of Sagunto, Hannibal regarded this act as an interference in Carthaginian affairs in Spain and besieged the city. In 218 BC, Rome declares war on Carthage for the second time. The Romans expected to fight in Spain, but Hannibal surprised them and invaded Italy ahead. In one of the largest marches in military history, he brought his army, including African war elephants, through southern France and the Alps in northern Italy, all in less than 5 months. Although it lost 1/3 of the army during the passage of the mountains, gallants in northern Italy joined him by giving them 50,000 army in the spring of 217 BC. This number was still very small compared to the 500,000 Roman soldiers Rome could recruit from Italy, but with the resources and genius of Hannibal, the Carthaginian army stayed in Italy for almost 15 years. After Hannibal shattered the Roman army in the Battle of Lake Trasimeno in 207 BC, the Roman assembly called for immediate action and a quick solution. Consuls were allowed to attack, but Hannibal was one step ahead, so his cavalry defeated the Roman legions in the Cannae disaster in 216 BC. According to Greek historian Polybius, Rome still had nearly 50,000 men and allied soldiers and another 10,000 captured, while less than 6,000 Carthaginians have fallen. It was the biggest defeat suffered by the Roman troops in history. Terrible losses from Cannae have caused panic in Rome, but the battle has turned out to be a crossroads in the Roman military effort. Nobility contributed to volunteer war, allowing slaves to serve as a bargain for the Roman fleet. Finally, the assembly allowed the Senate to be more cautious about leading the war. Between 214 and 210, Rome regains the big cities in southern Italy, Capua and Tarentum, and Sicily. Rome began offensive in Spain in 209 when the troops led by Publius Cornelius Scipio disrupted the supply lines of the Carthaginians. The following year, Scipio defeated Hannibal's brother Hasdrubal, and the Romans chased the Carthaginians in Spain. The Italian Carthaginian army led by Hannibal also had problems because of Carthage's refusal to send troops and additional weapons. So in 207 BC, Hasdrubal crossed the Pyrenees from Spain to help him, but was killed by the Romans in the Battle of the Taurus River in northern Italy. The Roman troops then invaded Africa, and Hannibal was called from Italy to defend the Carthaginian territory. In 202 BC, in the Battle of Zama, Scipio defeated Hannibal and was named Scipio Africanum, the conqueror of Africa. Rome has asked Carthage to pay an enormous amount to be paid in 50 years, forcing it to give up possession from outside Africa to keep only 10 ships. The Third Punic War was between 149 and 146 BC. Carthage humbly accepts the demands, but Roman Senator Marcus Cato was obsessed with the fear of Carthagena. Each speech in the Senate was finished with, and Carthage must be destroyed. Rome sought a minor offensive to start a new Carthaginian war. After a tough 3-year siege, the city fell in front of a Roman army commanded by Scipio Aemilianus, the nephew of the Zama victor of Scipio Africano, Carthage becoming a province of Africa. I'll talk in the next episode about the invasion of Greece and the Eastern Mediterranean, so if you like the episode, don't forget to subscribe, and until next time, bye bye.